oh, what does this have to do with running out of breath? Well, we'll get to that in a second. If you're running out of breath when you're singing, it's probably down to one of three things or a combination thereof. So we're going to get into that and hopefully fix that for you by the end of this video. If you don't know me, my name is Jim. I'm a professional singer for almost 40 years and a professional vocal coach for over 20 years. And in all that time, one of the things that really affected my singing a lot was running out of breath, because I'd have to sing long lines of a song and I would run out of breath. And I was like, how do I fix this? So we're going to get into the three reasons why you may be running out of breath. So the first reason is probably down to the amount of air you're taking in. You might not be taking in enough air. This could be because you've heard some vocal coach say, don't pack your lungs. Well, we'll get into that in a second, but you may have also heard only take enough breath to sing a note. And that one never really made sense to me, because if I'm going to sing a line and I don't know how long the line really is going to last, like typically, how do you calculate a line and then say, okay, I only need like a quarter of a breath or half a breath? That's a lot of math to be thinking when you're putting on a show, if you're singing live for people. So that never really sat with me. I never really understood that. When I started singing from the position of an inhale, which is typically like, I think what a lot of the classical people teach, they'll sing, they'll talk about singing from the position of an inhale. One of the main reasons why that is because the expansion of the ribs and the way that affects the diaphragm, which if you don't know about that, I have other videos on this. And also, if you want to understand how to use your support correctly, I have a free course down below. It's called Kickstart Your Voice. So click that, and that will help you understand not only support, but how to use your voice in ways that you never thought possible. So just getting back into this, we don't want to pack the lungs in a way. I guess this is why they probably talk about this in terms of packing the lungs. When you think about taking your deepest breath in, the tendency is to close off. So if you take a really deep breath, there's kind of like, that's what happened to me. If I just like consciously take a breath and I'm like locking up. Okay, so that's not good for singing. Instead, we want to take that deep breath and then have this kind of, a really open, kind of flowy sort of, the breath can come in or out. Like, say, for example, if you've ever swam, right, and you're swimming and you're lying on your back, treading water, and you're trying to stay up, and you have to have your lungs full of air, but you still want to talk. You can't just lock up, because then you need to breathe. You run out of like oxygen. You have to breathe. So you keep this kind of flowing in and out, kind of this buoyancy of the breath. It can come in, it can go out. It's just like I'm not locking up. So that keeps the voice free. I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. So if I just have that, full tank of air, I can sing that whole line. I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come with me Friday, don't say maybe. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby like you. Ooh. And there's taking breaths in there in between, but it's kind of like you don't have a lot of time to take a breath. You got to take what I call snatch breaths, these little, just like when you're up at the top of your breath, floating on your back, these little tiny breaths in. Okay, so that's number one. The second reason that you're probably running out of breath is that you're projecting with air. And this is all this breath. Breath is coming out. So if I'm pushing all that breath out, of course I'm going to run out of breath. Like, I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come with me, bro. So this is all gone. The breath is all gone because I'm just pushing the breath out. Another reason why that breath could be coming out faster is your vocal folds are not adducted. So it's like this breathy, I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come, like that was all gone there. Like my breath was just, but if I adduct the vocal folds, I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden. So this is the difference between falsetto. I'm singing in falsetto. And then head voice. I'm singing in head voice. More adducted vocal folds are going to stop the air from coming out. We're not using the vocal folds technically to stop the air. We really want to try to restrict the air from coming out. So we're not blowing the air out. So a good exercise for this that I've never heard anybody else do before. So it's a wah. Like just, all we're doing is kind of wah, wah, wah. Almost like we're just dropping our jaw. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Wah, 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 wah. Just like wah, 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 wah. Just you're dropping your jaw. Wah, 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 wah. And the whole key to that is that it's not like we're puh, puh, but wah is just wah, wah, wah. I'm just like wah, wah, wah. I'm just dropping my jaw. Wah, 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 wah. It can help sometimes, like I've done this before on the channel, is just to put your hands on your face. Wah, 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 wah. And the thing is also not to try and put strain up into the voice. Just allow it to be light. Just wah, 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 wah. Just the least air coming through the vocal folds, the better, because they're just coming together and vibrating. You don't have to fight by pushing a bunch of air. You don't have to smash them together to try and stop the air from coming out. So that wah, 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 wah can be a good exercise. Just drop the jaw. I'm just dropping my jaw. You can turn that into like just talking like this. I'm just talking and dropping my jaw. And you can have fun and play around with that. But the key is not blowing all that air out. If you're wondering still what we're going to do with this, stick around because it's going to be super fun. So the third reason why you may be running out of air is that you're not utilizing the throat in terms of a way to constrict the air. And when I say constrict the air, we don't want to constrict the air below the vocal folds. If I go like this, I'm constricting the air below the vocal folds. And there's no resonance because there's no air coming. There's very little air, I should say, coming through the vocal folds. And they just don't resonate. Everything is closed off. I'm smashing the vocal folds together as well. So there's just too much force there, like, pressing. There's the air doesn't go through. There isn't flow and buzz. As if I go this, like that up here. This is constriction above the vocal folds. So how do we get that? We're going to do some little kind of exercises for that. The first one I like to do is, this is the one that seems to work the most for people because the other ones, there's drawbacks to them. But if you just stick your tongue out, like you're at the doctor and you're saying, ah, when you stick the tongue depressor, stick your tongue out, ah, ah. So if you listen to that sort of squeakiness, and this is what, the classical term, they call that squillo, and that's Italian for ring. You hear that, ah. There's a few other terms that you've heard, I'm sure. Twang, ah, it's twang, right? So quack like a duck, quack, quack, quack. Ethel Merman, there's no business like show business. So you hear that, that's just very distinct squeak that comes with that constriction just above the vocal folds. And the reason to do that is, like, for example, in classical and in Broadway, they do that to amplify the high mid frequencies of the voice, so the voice stands out a lot more. But the other benefit to that is that if you constrict, you can put more force you could try to drive more air up, as in compression. You drive a bit more force up, but that air, it's stopping the air above the vocal folds, so you maintain a good balance of air pressure above and below the vocal folds, so you're not choking off the voice. So, if you just do that, you can hear that, and you can feel where the constriction is. But the key here, the difficulty, I think, at first for people is to withdraw your tongue and still maintain that musculature there. That it takes a little work to try and get that. So there's a lot of other things you could pretend to be like some from New York. You have the Italian. Like I've heard this is like the Italian vowels, which helps them to sing classical so well. Hey, I'm walking over here. Hey, oh, ah. The other thing, kind of put another interpretation out there is SpongeBob. This one gets difficult because when I've asked people to demonstrate, okay, copy me, and I'm going to do like the SpongeBob voice. Hey, it's me, SpongeBob. Oh, hey. Oh, hey. Sometimes they go, oh, hey, yeah. You can hear that's kind of like Squidward. You see, there's still a little weird squeak to it, but I'm pushing that sound in my nose. So, hey, SpongeBob, it's coming out of my nose. Oh, SpongeBob is like this. Oh, it's more open and kind of You stick your tongue out. Oh, you can really feel that. So that is another thing that you can do to help you extend your lines is to constrict the throat in that healthy way. So, for example, if I was to sing the line, I've got 2 tickets to Iron Maiden, baby. Come with me Friday, don't say maybe. I'm just a teenage dirtbag baby like you. So you see when sticking the tongue out even accentuates it that much more. And you can last a long time with that. Okay, so now we're going to put this thing to use. I think this is like a 1 liter bag, and we're going to put all of these things to use. We're going to take in enough air in that buoyant way, not locking up, not locking up. Remember, just keeping it buoyant. And we're going to hold back the air. Think, whoa, 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 whoa. And then we're going to have a little bit of that constriction in there. So we're going to take this, we're going to take all of the air out of this, and we're going to sing that whole line, and we're going to try our best not to fill the bag up completely. You can try this at your own risk. So here we go. Oh, I cheated. Okay. You got to plug up your nose because see, that can come out of your nose. So you have to start over. Plug up your nose this time. Woo! Well, how did you last? And were you glad I finally used that thing? You guys were wondering, I'm sure, all that time, what's he going to do with that bag? Anyway, let me know in the comments below which one of these worked best for you, the combination of them worked best for you, and were you able to sing out that line? Put this into practice, and I hope this worked for you. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching Rock Your Best Vocals, where your best keeps getting better. See you on the next one. Cheers.